What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Friday MLB edition of my DFS podcast. As usual, I'm going to be talking about the main slate and what value plays I am eyeing in the early afternoon. We have 12 games on this main slate. We have 3 games in the early window starting at 6:40 Eastern, so we have every team in the MLB playing today on this Friday. 3 games in the early window, 12 on the main slate for a total of 15 games. So the slate looks good. There's a couple of rain spots. We got Baltimore and the Yankees. It looks like we want to check back before lock. The radar doesn't look terrible, but we do want to make sure things are okay. And the same deal at Citi Field for the Mets and Rockies game. That's important because I like the Mets a lot today. One other weather game is not on the main slate. It's in the early window. The Athletics at Philadelphia. Same deal as the other spots. Just some lingering rain around first pitch, but it looks like all the games should play out just fine. So I'll obviously do a double check on radar closer to lock. And let's get into today's plays. I'm doing a free Guru credit code in this video, and we're coming off of our best day of the season yesterday. GPP, 58x ROI. Here, $6 into 350. We were, just a handful of points away from winning first place for 10,000. Rafael Devers was tough. He got a 0. If Devers did, something, maybe a homer, we could have came in first. We were actually winning almost $1,000 until Luis Castillo got the win for the Mariners at the very end of the slate. But definitely our best day of the year. We smashed the early slate on Dub Club. We're hitting all the parlays as well on Dub Club. So, I thought I would do a free Guru credit code, not only because it's Friday, but because we're coming off of our best day of the season. It's been a pretty rough season overall, but nights like this always make you feel a little bit better. And then the parlays for my Dub Club have been smashing. This is just over the last 3 days, all plus 230 or more. 5 out of the last 6. You can get into my Dub Club with a free trial below this video. It's well worth it. I play early slate DFS, after hours slate DFS, and I do parlays and other stuff. So a ton of content. Give that a try. There's a reason why I do a 7-day free trial, just so you can figure out what that platform is all about. And then one last thing, I am doing a Guru credit sale today. All $20 purchases will get 50% added on, so an extra 50 credits. Take advantage of that as we look to finish out this first half of the MLB season very strong over this weekend. But getting into my plays for pitcher, I do think Freddie Peralta is a great play at 9,500. He's projected some of the most fantasy points on the slate, not more than Garrett Crochet, but Crochet's 11K, so it's tough to spend up. He is one of the best pitchers in the MLB this year, so if you want to, you always can. I like saving $1,500 on Peralta. Brewers look really good tonight, not only with Peralta, but for the offense as well. They have a great matchup against Jackson Rutledge of the Nationals. I don't know who that is, meaning he can't be good because I do this shit every day. So if I don't know who you are, you're probably not good. A minors guy makes a lot of sense. He's only had 1 inning in the MLB, and he gave up a run to the White Sox. So, the Brewers look great today, all over the place. They'll probably be in my parlay. Love Freddie Peralta, big minus 260 favorite. Peralta's been a guy that hasn't really done much for me in the past. I seem to pick him on his off nights, but his ceiling is fantastic. This matchup is fantastic. He's projected for 36 fantasy points tonight. We all know he has that 50 upside, 52 in 2 out of his last 4 games. Has been playing like a boomer bust kind of guy this year. A 3.95 ERA isn't bad, but it's not great in Freddie Peralta standards. So I do expect him to lower that ERA tonight with a great matchup at home against the Nationals. Another guy similar tonight is Joe Ryan for the Twins. He's only $300 more. He's projected for about the same fantasy points. The Twins, let's get numbers on them. I can't find this game. They're in San Francisco. It's the last game of the night, 10:15 Eastern. San Francisco, obviously a nice spot for Joe Ryan, as it is one of the best pitchers parks in the MLB. He's a minus 150 favorite. 7.5 over under. So Joe Ryan looks great. He's coming off of a couple of great starts. 5 2/3 in both starts for 18 combined strikeouts. He's looked really strong. 21 against Arizona isn't great, but not bad. And then other than that, he's been pretty flawless over his last 6 games. So Joe Ryan looks great. I'm going to give the slight edge to Freddie Peralta. He's projected just a tick more fantasy points than Ryan, and he's $300 cheaper. I don't mind either one. I will probably get exposure to both. Hunter Brown, not a bad play at 9,100. He's been pitching, really well outside of last game. It is a tougher matchup against the Rangers. That's why he's not quite on the same level as Freddie Peralta and Joe Ryan tonight. In terms of cheap guys, no one really stands out too much. I try to look at a cheap guy for GPP, but, I never like to force it. It's just never a good idea. If you look at these names and these spots, it just, nothing really stands out. So it looks like, the top of the list here tonight at pitcher is Freddie Peralta and Joe Ryan. Sonny Gray's a little too expensive for my liking, but he is a big favorite tonight. Cardinals should be able to give him some run support against Kyle Hendricks. Cole Reagan's really, really tough spot at Fenway. I'm going to fade Cole Reagan's tonight. Freddie Peralta, Joe Ryan, they're my pitchers of choice. For the infield, we're going to look at the Reds. The Reds are looking great tonight. Cincy's also a spot that has a little bit of lingering rain around tonight, but it should be fine at the end of the day. Reds are minus 180 tonight against the Marlins in Yonny Chirinos. Just a great matchup here. They're big favorites. It's a 9 over under. Cincinnati, obviously a hitter's ballpark. So Elly De La Cruz is my spend up of choice. He's projected the most fantasy points over any hitter tonight. 4,200. We all know he can hit for power. He's got 15 homers, 250 average. Isn't bad for a guy like De La Cruz, but for him to get into superstar, or even, I wouldn't even say he's maybe a star right now, but to be a superstar, you got to be hitting 275. 15 homers is great, though. He steals bags like the best of them. Maybe the best base stealer in the MLB. And that's obviously a huge thing in fantasy. As on FanDuel, you get 6 fantasy points each stolen base. He's not afraid to steal second and third all in one trip. So I do like De La Cruz tonight. He should get 5 at-bats. He should be batting second, and the Reds should be able to cycle through the lineup tonight in this matchup against the Marlins. Second infield play, we're going to the Brewers, one of my favorite. They might be the best value stacks tonight because they're in a great spot and they're, cheaper than usual. Again, against this Jackson Rutledge guy on the Nationals, they're huge favorites, 8 over under. They should be able to generate plenty of runs tonight. I like, at this price, William Contreras is just too cheap at $3K. We've seen him, 36, 3,700, even at 4K at times this year. $3K is too cheap for William Contreras. He's having a great season, coming over from the Braves. That's second, and he's one of the best hitting catchers in the MLB. So Contreras at $3K looks great in this matchup against the Nationals. 292 average, 10 homers, 54 RBIs. He looks great. Like I said, you're going to want to stack him with other Brewers. There's other cheap Brewers. Bryce Terrain should be leading off. Lefty-righty matchup, only 2,800. Yelich is, I haven't looked at Yelich. 3,900 is pretty expensive. How much is Willy Adames? He's usually pretty cheap. 3,100. So these Brewers, very affordable. If Garrett Mitchell is batting 5th like he has been, he's one of the best value plays on the slate too. 2,300 with a lefty-righty matchup. We'll have to see what that Brewers lineup is looking like in a couple of hours. But I like William Contreras. Really nice value play. As I mentioned with Freddie Peralta, the Milwaukee Brewers are one of my favorite teams overall tonight on this slate. Going over to my website for that Guru credit code, go to the shop page. Like I said, I have a sale. If you spend $20 on credits, you will get a bonus 50. But I also have a coupon bar here on the shop page. This is where you type in your code, and the code is the date, Friday 7/12. Friday 7/12, all caps. Hit apply coupon, and you will get 10 free credits into your balance. Again, just like this video, subscribe. Take advantage of the $20 sale today as well. I'm all excited over last night and how well it went. Let's duplicate things today. I think the All-Star break is coming at a bad time because I think we're really starting to heat up and we've been long overdue. So enjoy those credits, and let's have a huge night tonight. Going into the outfield, Corbin Carroll should be leading off tonight. The Diamondbacks are in a really good spot tonight at home against Yariel Rodriguez, who has shown, he's a young guy. He's very inexperienced. He can get knocked around. The Diamondbacks, one of the best teams tonight. -130 favorites, 9 over-under, Arizona Hitters Ballpark. Corbin Carroll is having such a weird season. I mean, 210 average, which is up. He was batting like $170. But every time Corbin Carroll's 3K, he just grades out really well. He's not hitting homers. He seems to do a little bit of everything, though, and he doesn't really get more than one hit in a game, but somehow he gets double-digit fantasy points. If you look at his game log, he's not doing bad. If he gets, 10-plus fantasy points at 3K, he's doing fine. He can steal bases. He walks. He usually scores. I mean, he has 3, 6, 8 straight games before last game with a run scored. 2 of those games having 2 runs. I mean, they hit him in when he gets on base. So he scores fantasy points one way or the other. He's not hitting for power. We're not seeing anything like we saw in 2023 from Corbin Carroll when he won the Rookie of the Year for the NL. So hopefully he can get things turned around. This is a good spot for him. I do like the cheap price on Corbin Carroll at 3K. And then my last outfield play, who was it? I don't really remember who. Oh, that's right. The Mets are one of the best teams tonight. I think the Mets, Brewers, and Reds are in the top spots tonight. Mets are -270 against the Rockies. You know what? If the rain looks clear, there is a cheap guy you could look at. He's not that cheap, but if you want to get a little cheaper from the guys I mentioned, Sean Manaea has looked great over the last 5 games. 8,800 is not a bad play with him. He's a massive favorite. The rain just has to look good before we pick him. But Manaea is another guy you could target on tonight's slate. Love the Mets. Let's go with the hottest hitter in baseball right now. Brandon Nimmo, 3,400 lefty-righty matchup against Tanner Gordon is who is listed here. I don't know who that is either. It's got to be a minor leaguer. He's already had a start against the Royals, and he got absolutely rocked. 8 hits in 6 innings, 5 earned runs. I mean, the Mets should be able to smash him tonight. I love Nimmo at 3,400. If you look at his game log over the last week, he's been on a tear. 3 homers. He's got a couple of doubles in there. And, he can steal bases as well. He should be batting second in the heart of this lineup. Righty-lefty matchup. Mets are one of the best teams to stack. 8.5 over-under. Huge -270 favorites. I like Brandon Nimmo in the outfield. And that'll round up our picks for this video. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Like it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll have more giveaways and other things going on as we start to approach the NFL season. Until next time, guys, I am the FD Guru. Peace.